Football then and now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.
This is episode 47 of Football Then and Now, and I've got a returning guest. He's a co-host. Let's just call him a co-host, and I'm done with it. Brady Barlow is filling in for Chris again. He's a bit unwell. He's a bit under the weather. But Brady steps in to the breach once more for Football Then and Now. And also, just before I come to you, mate, this show is available on the Sports Social Podcast Network, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. 500 podcasts and counting. It'll be 600 soon. If you've got a podcast, I say this every time, and you're not affiliated with anybody else, please give them, just give them a message. Give them a message. We can put you in touch with Brady, myself, and Chris, of course. They take care of all your content, your listing fees you won't have to pay for. I know how bad that used to be when I was hitting 5-6 episodes with the wrestling one. But Brady, how are we, mate? How's things?
Not bad, mate. Yourself?
All good, all good. I want to go into last night's game. I'm sure you watched it. Our beloved Wales away in Skopje, North Macedonia. Always a tricky place to go, of course. It's always a lot of teams find it tough going there and getting something. Belgium, who are still in the Nations League, they've not had a group game yet. They've got to go there. My God, mate. Controlled the possession. Do you know what I mean? But we didn't create many chances, did we? And then
No.
The old Joe Allen, so unlike Joe Allen, the pass back and they're in and they've scored. What did you take away so late on when they went 1-0 North Macedonia?
I mean, they are a difficult team, home or away. They're one of those. They're not good enough to beat the so-called bigger teams like your France's. They've given England a good go before in the past. They've got it in them. They do. And when they went 1-0 up, I thought, that's it. Done, dusted. So Wales have controlled the game. They're missing something up front, I feel. I know Bellamy's trying to get his own system in place, but I just feel like they're missing something. They're missing a target man or somebody that can just hold the ball up or knock it on for other players to run off. But yeah, I thought when they went 1-0 up, I thought that's it. And then good old Brooks, after everything he's been through, popping up, getting the equaliser. 96th minute, was it? 95th, 96th minute? I mean, fair dues for what he's been through and getting that it would have felt like a win for him and for a lot of the lads. I mean, they could have been at least 1 or 2 up before that stage anyway, but we all know what happens. You can control the possession all you want. It's those numbers up in the top left hand of your screen that get you the wins or the losses.
They sat back.
Yeah.
Macedonia sat back. It makes it so difficult. And, Brennan Johnson as the 9, he's trying things. I understand that. And he will change it as well, where Page was very set with his 11 for a lot of games, wasn't he? His 11 was his 11 essentially. But you can see over the 2 games so far, he's switched it up, hasn't he? He's given people
chances. He's not been in the job long. He's worked with Wales with Robert Page, and he's always been around the setup. But you look at the players that they've had go out, like your Gareth Bale, your Aaron Ramsey's not able to do what he used to. There's a lot of the old guard that have had to step away because of different reasons, and he's got the young talent coming through. And it's like back before Wales did that amazing run in the Euros. They had the talent there. They were playing together constantly. And it seems like that's what they're doing again now. They're on a rebuild again. Because Wales aren't like the likes of England or Spain or France. They haven't got players playing in the top leagues consistently. They've got one, what's his name, midfielder, plays over in France.
Jordan James, who was,
Yeah.
I would say, he was man of the match last night.
When he came on the other night, he literally he just controlled the game as soon as he came on. He looks like he's a top talent, but you've got players that are playing in Championship, lower leagues, well, the so-called lower leagues, and they're having to rebuild. And their fitness might not be the same as the so-called bigger teams, but they've got the heart there. They've got the fight of a dog in them.
Brennan needs to go on the wing. He needs to be up in that. He's trying.
He's not an out-and-out striker.
No, he's not big enough. He's not big enough for that role. That's why Kiefer. I actually thought Kiefer Moore was going to come on sooner than he did.
Yeah,
but it gives you that decoy, doesn't it? Which it did lead to the goal.
I'm surprised that he didn't start with Kiefer Moore.
Jordan James blocked that lad off as calamitous as both goals were. He was the blocker there because that defender couldn't get in. But Kiefer Moore again. The onus when that ball's getting lumped in, the opposition are panicking. We've seen it time and time again. They've got Liechtenstein next. Just want to move us along. Liechtenstein next, and they play Belgium. So a big win in Cardiff against Liechtenstein is needed now, isn't it? Because if they've got 6 points at the first two.
Yeah, if they go and beat Liechtenstein, they're on 7 going up against Belgium, who would have only played 1 game by then. So, and then Belgium, they're shaky. They're not as threatening as they used to be. I mean, they're still a very good side, but they're not as threatening as they used to be. Because they're the same. They're going through a transition. So I think Wales could nick something out of that game. I think Liechtenstein, they should get a win out of that one. I mean, Kazakhstan, they gave Wales a game. That was a hell of a game. Felt a bit unfortunate for Kazakhstan because they did play really well, but the quality sort of shone through with the changes that Bellamy made. But I think Wales get a win out of Liechtenstein. Then it'll be Belgium. I'd take a draw against Belgium all day. But they've set themselves up well. I mean, you're really going against Belgium and North Macedonia, really, in that group. They're the two. Belgium, you'd expect to top the group by the end of it.
It's an aging team now. I know we'll be bringing through the new crop, seeing some of the young ones, but it's getting to a point now. There's a lot of that squad that are aging, so we've got a chance. We've always got a chance. We'll always have a go, and it's never say die. I think we're a bit better attacking. I think Robert Page lost the plot slightly towards the end.
Yeah, I think he lost a lot of players. From what I've read, he lost a lot of the players because he wouldn't change it up when you'd normally would, or he wouldn't play a player that you'd think he'd put in against certain teams. And from what I'd been reading and hearing, he'd had little arguments with certain players here and there, and he started to lose a lot of the players because of that. So I think he just had the bit between his teeth. He was just sort of, no, I'm doing it my way, and that's it.
Sorba Thomas, I've been impressed with. Kind of in and out with Page. He's gone over to France. He's at Nantes at the moment. So he's in France. I've been very impressed with him over the 2 games, getting forward. He had 2 assists, obviously, against Kazakhstan as well. So he's playing him. He likes him. He's getting the caps. He's consistently, I think he's going to start all the time. Again, a big call was Danny Ward getting dropped. Carl Darlow was on the fringes at Newcastle for years. He's at Leeds. He's second keeper at Leeds, but he seems to like Carl Darlow. a bit unlucky with the penalty on the weekend,
Yeah.
down the middle off his leg, and but he seems to he's making calls. He's making big calls. Bellamy.
Yeah.
We'd expect it, wouldn't we?
Well, Darlow, he's always been behind. I know it's not the right thing. A bigger keeper. So he's learned a lot more than what I'd probably say Danny Ward is. Danny Ward's a good keeper, don't get me wrong, but he's very shaky. I wouldn't have him one-on-one with a lot of players, where Darlow, he's got the experience. He's been around the game a lot longer. He's got a very good tactical head on him. Yeah, he had that little thing on the weekend, which no fault of his own. He held his hands up afterwards. He admitted it. But I think at the moment, in that area, I think Bellamy's got more experience.
Definitely.
Which I'd probably... Danny Ward, I think, confidence. So everything that's happened, obviously, when he was with Leicester and everything else, I think it's just knocked him a bit. Where Darlow's always been... He was consistent when he was playing for Newcastle, when he get the games. And he was always on the fringes, but would always get picked by somebody else, which was a shame. But he's getting his chance, performing well.
Yeah.
The goals that he's conceded, penalty, and then that one last night, which was a bit of a freak one. Like you said, Joe Allen, you wouldn't expect Joe Allen to make a mistake like he did. But he's another one that's on the fringe of leaving the setup. I think they'd happily keep him on as a coach because he's got so much experience at all levels of the game. And he'll be brilliant for the youngsters that are coming through.
Also, during half time as well, Joe Ledley did a little interview with Chris Gunter. We got Chris Gunter, so many caps for Wales, capped so many times. He's the under-19s manager. So just before we go over to the FA Cup quarter-final preview, just want to say Chris Gunter is in place with the under-19s, so it's in a good place. Fantastic. Not a bad start. 4 points. We could have been on 3 points, so it's a good, solid start. We look forward to the games in June. I'm just going to move us on because of time. Your Aston Villa are playing. You're in the crop of fixtures. We talk about Villa quite a lot. It all ties in, doesn't it? You've been a Villa fan, but we've got 4 fixtures, of course. It's the quarterfinals of the FA Cup this weekend. Fulham versus Palace. Preston North End against your beloved Aston Villa. We've got Bournemouth, Man City. And on that graphic there, it's Brighton and Hove Albion versus Forest or Ipswich. I think it's an old graphic, Brady.
Yeah, it's Saturday you've got 12:15 Fulham Palace, and then 5:15 Brighton Forest.
Right, okay.
And then Sunday 1:30 you've got Preston Villa, and 4:30 Bournemouth City.
Are you thinking you're going to wallop Preston North End? That's what we're going to say.
I wouldn't say wallop. I think they'll give us a game because you know yourself, anything can happen in the FA Cup. I wouldn't want to say that Villa would go there and absolutely batter them. I mean, it's a possibility with the players that haven't been out on international duty this week for Villa that he's going to give game time too, because we've got quite a few players coming back from injury. I mean, you've got Pau Torres coming back. You've got Ross Barkley, Onana. We've got so many players that didn't go that have been out in Saudi training that are coming back from injury, and there's a lot of players that haven't been getting the game time because others have been pipping them to the starting spaces. So I think he'll alter it a little bit. He won't alter it massively, but it'll be a good game. Obviously, I think Villa will win it, but I don't think we'll give Preston a walloping. I think it'll be I'd probably go 2-0.
I think that's fair. You know, they turned Burnley over
Yeah.
3-0. Burnley have been going great guns, you know, contending to get back up, of course, under Scotty Parker. So it was a big win. They beat Charlton previously, and they only knocked Wickham out on penalties. So they've gained momentum, haven't they, going in? But as you say, I just think you can have too much for him. But I think as that game wears on, it'll be Premier League fitness. But like you say, he's got one eye on the league and he's got one eye on the Champions League as well. Of course, you know you're fighting on three fronts, mate. It's you know, but you're strong. You can drop people and you're still strong, aren't you? So I think. Do you know what? I'm going to go for an early goal by Preston. I'm going to go for an early goal, but I think you'll finish it 3-1. I think like Preston will be up for it. It's their cup final essentially.
Yeah.
I've got that. So you're going 2-0. I'm going 3-1. Also, Fulham Palace, Brady. This could be a close one to call, couldn't it?
I've gone with Palace for this one, 2-1. I just think Palace, they've been consistent and inconsistent, but I just think in this one, he's going to push for it. And I can see Palace doing Fulham over in this one. I know it's at Fulham's ground, it's at Craven Cottage, but I just think Palace will have that little bit extra in this one.
They're probably slightly in better form, aren't they? They've really been picking the wins. Obviously, no Jean-Philippe Mateta, of course, the marksman after that tackle, but he diffused that situation, didn't he? Because it was made out, the keeper, was vilified. The keeper was vilified. He quelled all that negativity, saying, "Look, you know, it was accidental, but he's a huge
100%.
He's a huge loss." But obviously, Eddie Nketiah, he hasn't really done what was expected of him, has he? In terms of what he was doing at Arsenal when he stepped up at Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's his time to step up and show himself to the Palace fans. I mean, I know the Palace fans already know him, but I just think with Mateta being out, this is his chance now. If he doesn't take it, he's not going to make it in the Premiership.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you're going to go with Palace on this one? Can I push you for a score? 2-1 Palace. I'm going to go. Do you know what? I've got a funny feeling we could have penalties off the back of this one. I'm going to go 2-2, and I'm going to go Palace winning on penalties. Then we move on to Bournemouth, Man City. Bournemouth, you can't. You would have said it was City's last season. This one, wouldn't you? You would have said there's no way City are going to go there and not get anything. But Bournemouth, the way they've been playing, we've said it various times. You've said it various times since you've been on. They've been brilliant. Chris has said it. I've said it. I think they've got one hell of a chance here because City are just so hit and miss. And it's been crazy how long this bad form's gone on for, really, and drawing games and losing games. And you've got to give Bournemouth one hell of a chance in this one. And it's so hard going to the Vitality as well. You know,
it is, but I've still gone for a City win.
Yeah.
I just feel like they've got a point to prove, haven't they, now? Because they're not going to win the league. We all know they're not. Not unless Liverpool go on some absolutely ridiculous losing streak and City go on their mad winning streak like they like to do near the end of the season. I think the league's done and dusted for them now. It's gone. And I think he's going to want some sort of silverware, and the only one that he can get now is the FA Cup. So I think he's going to push for this one, and I can see City doing it 2-1.
And I've got, as much as Bournemouth will push it, I'm going to go 3-2 City. And Brady, obviously, it's not at the City ground, but obviously February 1st, Brighton got absolutely obliterated at the City ground in the Premier League 7-0. Brighton at the Amex against Forest again. What's your prediction just before we move on to our final item?
I've gone Brighton for this one, to be honest. I just feel like being at the Amex, it's their cup final as well, really, isn't it? I mean, I think Brighton. I think Forest are going to push for top four, and I think they've got more of an eye on the league than they have on the cup. So I can see Brighton doing this one, and I think it'll be a close one. So I've gone 1-0 on this one to Brighton.
I'm going to go Forest. I'm going to go Forest on this one. I just think Forest are going to do it. I've got it. Just got it in my head that I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest. I just think they've been fantastic. And some people's team of the season, if you take Liverpool out of the equation, they've been brilliant. What a turnaround! We've said, it was tough. It was tough for Espirito Santo at Tottenham. It didn't go well, did it? He built himself up at Wolves, of course. Yeah. And he's gone in there, and they've overachieved. If anything, they've been exceptional.
After what they were like last season compared to this season, I mean they had a mass turnover of players last season. He's got rid of the players that he didn't want in the summer, got the team in that he wants, and fair dues. If I was going to give manager of the season, it would either be Arne Slot or it would be Nuno. It'd have to be. It'd be between, because of what Slot's done for Liverpool. They're going to win the league. Liverpool are going to win the league. I know it pains you to admit it as well, being an Everton fan, but Liverpool are going to win the league, and I think he deserves it for that. But for overachieving this season, Nuno's up there as well. I think it's between them two. If anybody else gets thrown in there, then it's absolutely ridiculous, because it is between them two. And I still think Brighton are going to do it in the cup, because I think that Forest are going to have more of an eye on the league.
It's crazy how much is riding on this for Pep. All the trophies he's amassed, the best of the best. There's a lot riding on him winning this whole thing. You guys, it's huge. All 8 teams in there, even Preston. It's major. Yeah. It's major for all the clubs, and it's major for City.
I think, is it this season could be the only season Pep hasn't won anything over here?
It's mad. Absolute madness. I just thought the form would pick up after Christmas. Yeah. I was just thinking he'd sort it, but it's just been very patchy. They'd have like a decent game, then they draw the next one or lose. So it's all 8 teams. It's great for all 8 teams because there's so much riding on it. There's so much riding on it. And we look forward to the games over the weekend, of course. That's going to be amazing. There's your preview for that. And an article that you brought to my attention, your very own Tyrone Mings has secured a massive, massive role leading into the Euro 2028 tournament that is over here, of course. The role is he's going to go on the board of directors for the tournament, but he'll also still be playing Premier League football while he's organising the tournament. And, Villa Park is one of the venues as well that's going to be used for it. So it all ties in. What an honour to be asked to do this. And you're still a player. You're still an active player. I bet you were just overjoyed for him getting this.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was surprised that they've gone with an active player, because I would have thought they would have gone with somebody that's retired in maybe the last 5 years, say like a John Terry or a Jamie Carragher or somebody like that. But to go with a still active player who's still playing for Villa and has played for England in the past, just to get his input on how players are going to be after games and how they should cover certain things, just to get that sort of input from an active player. I mean, nobody's done it before. Nobody's even thought about doing it before. And for them to turn around and give him the honour of doing it, I mean, it's brilliant for him. I mean, he's been a leader for Villa since he came in on loan back in the Championship. I never thought we'd have Tyrone Mings when we were in the Championship. Never thought we'd have John Terry when we were in the Championship. But for what he's done at Villa, I mean, he's club captain. There's talk about him possibly going back to Bournemouth, but from what I've heard, he says he wants to retire at Villa. And I mean, for him to get this honour, he's admitted himself, it's unbelievable that he's been picked for it. But I just think them choosing an active player gives them an insight that most of these directors that are going to be on the board and the other board members, a lot of them have never been part of a playing team. They've been part of boards, directors of boards, and in the background of clubs, but they've never played the game. So from what I've been reading, they wanted insight from a player that is either active or has retired recently. And the fact they've gone with somebody that has the experience that Mings has is unbelievable for him. I mean, you're going to see different things because he's putting his input across and he's not scared to tell people, no, don't do it that way, do it this way. He's not a yes man. So you'll see a lot of different things. It'll only be small things because it might be you've got, say, France their team's based in London, and they'll try and have their games. They won't put them playing in like St James's Park up in Newcastle, and then the next game be up in Scotland, and then over in Ireland. From what I've heard, he's there to put the input on the best rest time and everything for the players to get the best out of the tournament. So there's less injuries and less fatigue in the players. So he's apparently bringing that insight into it because he's been through that experience. But we'll see what happens. We've got 3 years till the tournament kicks off.
You've got to remember as well, I know the off season can be short at times. They don't have off as long as they normally have, but he'll have time, where he's not. There'll be months where he's not. They still train and get fit and all that. I understand that.
Yeah.
You don't have 2-3 months off there because of pre-season, but he'll have all that time as well. When you add it up over the course of, he's got time, hasn't he, as well? Time's on his side and bridging the gaps and liaising with players, I think, and players' mental health and stuff like that. There's so many strands and bridges off this, that they can, it's player welfare. A lot of it. Like you said, he's been in it. He knows exactly what it takes. So it's
apparently a lot of it as well is down to, with the World Cup being in Qatar. Is it next year? Yeah, next year.
No, Qatar. No, USA, Canada, Mexico.
Oh yeah, USA, Canada.
Yeah,
and then with it going to Qatar, the one after, isn't it? The 2030s Qatar.
Or is it Saudi?
Saudi.
I think Saudi, in it, because Qatar,
they've over that way. Yeah. Because of the change around with that, you're going to have, with the players coming back from US and Canada, they're obviously going to need a longer rest period.
Mm.
So it's all down to that. He's working a lot with the directors on the board, and he's going to be working with like in contact with a lot of the nation's like physios and doctors and things.
Okay.
Just for the, like you said, the player welfare.
Yeah. It's major. It's major now.
This has never been done before, and I think they've realised, because apparently UEFA and FIFA have agreed with it as well, and they want to push for it to be done, like in the future, also having active players for where the World Cup or is based, or the Euros, or just have active players on the board just to give their insight and be the go-between between the players and the tournament officials, which is only going to improve the tournament.
definitely. It's a huge, huge honour for him. It's amazing. It's amazing. And model professional. Do you know what I mean? No ego with him. I remember him at Ipswich. I remember him years ago coming through, mate. So it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Again, mate, thank you so much for filling in.
Worries.
And we hope Chris gets better. Of course, we want him better. And on this day in football history, we'll return. I am not going to take on this day in football history. It's his segment. It's his baby. I tell him this all the time. He told me to do it. To be fair, like, just do it. No. It's his segment. It's got his thumbprint, fingerprints all over it. Thank you, obviously, for previewing the FA Cup as well. And all the best to Villa, still fighting on three fronts, Braids, and PSG coming up as well, as we've said. And you will be back for episode 48, where we're going to preview the midweek games that are coming up, because there's no games this weekend. We're going to preview Tuesday and Wednesday's Premier League matches.
And Thursday.
What was that? Sorry?
There's a game Thursday as well.
Oh, thank you. Apologies there. I got that one wrong. And a game on Thursday as well. So we'll have all that good stuff. And we're waiting for the Premier League to come back. A lot of people just can't be doing with the international break, but I don't mind it. I like the games. I do.
Yeah.
How about you?
I like the games, especially when it's build up to tournaments like these ones have been, but some of the friendlies are pointless.
Absolutely.
I feel.
I don't, yeah. I think the only thing I don't like is the regularity of the games, but then when you've got a World Club Cup coming up in the summer, that blanks everything off. They could play so many of these when we've not got a tournament in the summer. Exactly. They could do maybe get half the games out the way and play like another 2 or 3 rounds through the season. It's just it's too stop-start. It's too stop-start, I will say that. But that's a story for another day. And just good luck to Villa, as I say, against Preston. Good luck to all the other sides as well in those quarterfinals. It's going to be amazing. And we'll be back for a preview for episode 48. The Premier League returns. And as Brady said, it's not just Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a Thursday game as well. And we'll see you very, very soon for episode 48. And thank you to the Sports Social Podcast Network, as I alluded to at the beginning of the show. And all the best and take care, everybody.
Football then and now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.